Here in the studio is Rahul Roy Chaudhury, a Senior Fellow for South Asia at the International Institute for Strategic Studies. Rahul, I have to first ask you how the BJP has changed. 20 years ago, when I used to speak to my Indian friends and they mentioned the BJP, some of them were genuinely scared and even used the word a fascist party. It was a party that polarized opinion so intensely because of its Hindu nationalism. It must have changed something to gain this kind of result.
Well, I think two things have changed. The first is that the BJP was in power for several years, over 10 years ago. And I think when it was in power, it realized that it had to sort of go through a moderate approach. It could not take a Hindu nationalist approach on a number of issues. And with the then Prime Minister of the BJP, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, we saw the BJP, whether it was in domestic policy or in foreign policy or in security policy, take a moderate position in certain areas, the outreach to Pakistan, the development within the country, etc. So that was one aspect that has changed the BJP from what it was 20 years ago. The second aspect is that the BJP today is actually slightly different from the BJP that was there over 10 years ago. There are new leaders, there are new parts of the BJP that have been brought up after the BJP government. So we're looking at distinctively changed BJP for this term in government.
When we look ahead to the BJP governing without the need for coalition partners, what have we learned from the past 30 years of coalition government in India? How has that hindered the country?
Well, I think the first thing is that this is the first time, as you said, in 30 years that a single party has an absolute majority in parliament. And if you look at the textbooks for the last 10 or 12 years, people have been writing that it will never again be possible for a single party to govern India without a coalition. Now they've all, including myself, been proved wrong on this. So I think it is really a historic development in the sense that it wasn't expected to happen. It has happened. So that is an important point. The second point is that we've seen in the last 10 years particularly that it's very difficult for a government with allies that it depends on for sustainability in parliament to be effective. And we've seen this with the UPA government, which was led by the Congress, where there are several pulls and pushes in terms of policy, in terms of implementation. This time we're not going to see that. We're not going to see any of the allies of the BJP have any great influence in terms of the decision-making process within the BJP and also in terms of the implementation of policies.
You're going to be with us all night, so we'll talk a lot through the night about the national policies that Narendra Modi may want to implement. So let me take you for the moment abroad. Is that a weakness of his, that he doesn't have that international experience? What are those challenges?
I think it is. I mean, if people have often compared Narendra Modi to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and I think that's mistaken in a way. If you look at foreign policy issues, after all, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the foreign minister of India before he became prime minister. This is the first time that Modi is going to be a member of parliament. For example, he's been chief minister of Gujarat for 3 terms. So if there is a sort of a weakness, a relative weakness in Narendra Modi, it is in terms of his foreign policy perspectives, that he hasn't had to deal formally with countries in the region or beyond as chief minister. And it will be key to see how he's able to work on this aspect, particularly in terms of the people he appoints, whether as the foreign minister, the minister of external affairs, or the national security advisor to the prime minister.
Okay, very interesting thoughts, Rahul. Rahul Roy Chaudhury, of course, we're going to have you all night here, so we look forward to hearing more of your analysis. Thanks for the moment.